What's up, bitches? Welcome back to another episode of Positively Uncensored, your favorite reality TV and interview podcast. It's your host, Leah.
Tell us lies, tell us sweet little lies. That's right. We're recapping episode 6 of Tell Me Lies season 2. Today I'm joined by my best friend Bree from her podcast Free the Black Sheep.
Hello.
If you aren't listening to her podcast, make sure that you add her on Spotify, add her on Instagram, add her on all the things. Go follow her podcast, check it out. Do you want to give a brief background of what your podcast is about?
Sure. My podcast, Free the Black Sheep, is about the intersectionality of Black womanhood through my lens, but it's hilarious because I am hilarious. I'm a tool. I'm a clown. I'm raunchy. It's about pop culture, just our lives, and sometimes reality TV, but what I'm watching, everything. So check me out.
Check her out. Check it out. It's an amazing podcast. And even if you're not a Black woman, you can still get something out of this podcast. At the very least, you can be aware of people's experiences that are not your own and find common ground to relate to those experiences, really.
Agree.
Okay, cool. I don't know why I'm so excited, but I think it's because I have you on here and it's been a
I'm
while.
I
keep making these weird faces, but it's because I'm so excited you're here. Okay, so the episode title for episode 6 was Do Your Dirty Words Come Out to Play? And do you think that they have rhyme or reason behind these episode titles? Because it's a running thing I've been talking about.
Listen, every episode, BT Dubs, I love the way you cover this show, but these titles are so bad. I'm the way that I wouldn't even have thought of that. And when you said that, I'm like, yes. And then when you tell me what it should have been, I should have thought about this before we got on. But it's just why? Listen, I told you I covered this on my show, and I called the episode "It's Slapping Season." What? Come on now, let's do better. What do you think it should have been called?
I really like your title. Only because
it's actually October and it's spooky season, so I was like, it's slapping season, or the slap heard around the campus because it was,
I like that too. God, let me think of something because they had a really awkward Friendsgiving there. Hopefully I can think of something really funny, maybe a one-liner that someone says in the middle of the show. And that's probably what I would title the episode. But Do Your Dirty Words Come Out to Play isn't what I would title it. I can't with the titles.
We must fuck the turkey. What?
Yes! Why not that? I would click immediately. What? We must F and then asterisk the turkey. I would click that.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it to us. Okay, so getting into the episode starts with a flashback to the wedding in 2015, and Bree is on the phone and she's like, listen to me, I get married tomorrow. I have a chance to have a family. I want to feel like a good person again. Who do you think she's talking to?
I'm like, there's no way this relationship carried over for 4 years. 1, 2, to me, I love that part because it showed, it was the first scene of showing the older Bree and Evan, right?
Yes.
The older Bree and Evan having imperfections because they're the perfect couple. The we got it all together couple. We know that their college selves are currently a mess, but their future selves have been pretty kept together. We got it all together. We're getting married. So it was the first crack in the foundation. I enjoyed that. I don't know. Who do you think she's on the phone with?
That's a really good point. I love that because they are kind of keeping things fresh, keeping things cute to everybody at their, it's the wedding, the party before their wedding. I don't know what those are called. The wedding eve, whatever that is that people have.
The rehearsal.
Yes.
Rehearsal wedding, something like that.
Yes.
Why do you need to rehearse the wedding? Whatever. It's that.
Yeah. Whatever. Practice wedding. So whatever. Mm-hmm. They're at the rehearsal. I think that she was probably talking to a family member. I completely agree with you. I don't think it's a relationship that carried over for 4 years. I do think that the fact that she ends up choosing to be with Evan means that eventually she probably digests the fact that what he said to her in the prior episode. Oh, I'm sorry. No,
No,
this
it's this
episode.
episode. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what he says to her later on in this episode is true, and we'll get there when we get there. So stay
I
tuned. Keep
remember
listening.
that you watched the show before I did, and I'm like, you're like, just know Evan tells Bree the truth, and I'm like, the truth about what, bitch? Because I like Bree. What he needs to be telling the truth to himself. And then when I watched it, I'm like, Leah. Okay, now I get it.
Like, and everybody, it's so interesting how each character has secrets that they keep for themselves, secrets that they keep within their like relationships with people. There's so many secrets. Okay, so I think she's talking to a family member. I think she's talking to her foster sister, because she's mentioned her throughout the series. So I'm going there. And if not there, probably her biological mother. Maybe she got in contact with her or something. So I'm feeling like it's a family member that she's talking to and not Oliver. It wouldn't, and it would be funny if it was Marianne. I had a couple people in my comments say, what if it's Marianne?
I love your listeners because they think outside the box, honey. I'm like,
exactly. I'm like, now that would be tea. Marianne? Okay, let's see. Because I do think they want a menage a trois. I think both of them want to have a,
I'm like, is she the
round
of
with Bree.
Game? Yeah.
It feels very cat and mouse. So that's how it starts. She's on an ominous phone call, and then we cut to the rehearsal dinner, and Lucy and Bree are standing there and talking. And as they're talking, their mouths drop because they look to the entrance of the wedding, and in walks Diana. And Lucy is like, did you invite her to Bree? Like, how is she here? And then before Bree can even answer, really, Pippa walks up and she's like freaked out.
No shame because she didn't feel the need to tell them. She didn't feel the need to warn them. She was like, I'm standing on business. This is it. This is what's happening. We're here.
I loved it.
Me too.
So, and I love that Wrigley, Steven, Evan, all the guys see as well. And they're like, and it's like, yeah, Steven, people go gay after dating you. Like, or actually, no one ever liked you. How about that? You were what's a female beard?
No idea.
Yeah, I don't either. But you know how they say that? Like that, yeah. So like, I don't know, a feared. You were her purse, okay?
I feel like it's like the ghost of ex's past because he's just like, they're just, everyone is just, Wrigley. It's all just messy. It's messy. I'm living. I love it.
I live for the mess. Live for the mess. And it's crazy that we still don't know what happened to Drew. Like, we know Drew's not at this party, but we have no idea. So Diana walks in and Pippa walks up to her, kisses her. And Lucy and Bree are like, are we hallucinating? What's going on?
When she said that, I was like, that is literally how I would have felt in that moment.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. It's like,
what's happening?
Right, because everybody was seemingly seeing each other for the first time. It's been 8 years. Everyone's seeing each other. So then to see two people who knew each other in college, but they're dating now. Okay, loves it. Loves it.
Not only that, and I know I'm skipping ahead, but just I thought of this at the end, all the slaps that happened, thinking about seeing this girl after all that, after seeing how the end of this episode happened, I'm like, this is so awkward. And they said it. They're like, this is fucking awkward, dude.
So many layers of awkwardness. And I hate how Lucy's boyfriend seems to be so aloof and oblivious to the tension. I'm like, who are you? Like, what are you here for? Lucy's with the most useless men. Leo still hasn't punched Steven in the face. Okay?
And I think this is a good, like I say this about this show all the time, it's a good show to show that, like, you don't choose terrible men. Men have all these sides to them. It doesn't matter what type of man you're with. You will be with a man who's a quote-unquote good man, but when he meets your ex, he's like, oh, he didn't physically abuse you. You may have went through all this torment. He may have killed a girl, but, like, if he didn't physically abuse you, I'm not going to be rude to the guy. Like, you'll still see that, because I think he said that in the last episode, you'll still see that protection for another guy, where it's like, he wasn't physical, so he's an asshole, but he's not abusive. Honey, he was abusive in many different forms.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to hit on that when we talk about Leo's reaction to Lucy towards the end of the episode, because that's a great example of that. So Lucy's boyfriend innocently asks Diana how long they've been together, and I wrote this down as an interesting part because she goes, "It depends on who you ask." And I'm like, there's overlap between Steven, Diana, and Pippa. Like they definitely started dating before she was done with
Okay,
Steven.
see, I was gonna ask you. I'm glad you brought that up because I was gonna ask you what you thought of that. Because to me, that could have meant we've been talking for a long time, or it could have meant it depends on who you ask out of us two if we are officially been dating a long time. So that was your take of it. You felt like that meant overlap has happened. Okay. Okay.
And now that you're saying your take, I absolutely can see either way
But
though.
I
But
can
yeah,
see your take.
okay, good. I saw that as like, oh, gee, Steven. Ha ha.
It's been
You,
years.
Steven, it appears we have something in common, and her name is Diana. And I won. Just remember.
Okay.
So sorry, Steven.
Okay.
And I hate to talk about women that way because I like men usually do that in a very like, she's mine, like still hit. So like not in that kind of way.
No, I love it. I love your heteronormative talk sometimes because who did you call us on your episode? You were like, "I'm sorry, you're a pussy." I know we shouldn't say that, but I was like, "I know that's right. He's a
Yes.
pussy."
Yeah. I don't know
Sometimes
who I
we
said
just
that about, but I stand on it. Whoever I said that about, if I have to say it, you are. Like, because
sometimes there's no other word. Okay. Okay.
no. Okay, so I liked that part. Then Steven gives a speech about Evan, and this was the precursor for Lucy doing some crazy shit. Because he's like, mind you, too, Steven is a narcissist, and you can tell in everything he does. He's making a speech at Steven's wedding. I'm sorry, Evan's wedding, but he makes it about himself. Who does that?
Around like I'm in the room with them, and I'm like, y'all have let this get too far. Y'all have let this. There's no reason this speech should have been like. It was so pointed. It was so disgusting. It was like this isn't even cute. Like, where are the adults?
Evan taught me to find the person worth changing for. I haven't found that yet. She's not here tonight, but please pass along my adoration.
And let me just tell you this for the women who are still very much caught up in the heteronormative game. And I had to tell my mama this the other day, men do not change for the perfect woman. You will not you may get different behaviors, but you're not going to get a different man. You're not getting a different version because you are amazing. You could be Beyonce and you're going to get Jay-Z's cheating ass. Okay. You're never going to be good enough that a man changes. He will maybe change his perception, the way he looks to fit whatever narrative he needs to, but there is no perfect woman to change an ancient dude. It's just, please know that there's nothing you can do to change a dude. He must grow on his own for himself, get some deep ass therapy. And that's it.
Yes.
He's disgusting for saying that.
Don't let a man convince you that you have made him a better person, because whoever he was before is likely to come back out. And that's not to say that people don't get better as they're in relationships. I definitely believe, especially in heteronormative relationships, men don't have even basic understanding of what women go through and our feelings and how to communicate with us. So a healthy man with healthy coping mechanisms and without all of this pent up hatred for women is going to learn how to communicate more effectively, more softly, and that he can look at his wife or his partner and say, thank you for doing this. But unless a man is making those changes, it's always going to be, you're going to be waiting for the other shoe to drop, like you said.
Yep. Walking on eggshells. Yep.
Exactly.
And
so
go ahead.
No, you first.
And this is a moment to know that, like, this was those Will spin. This was the moment where he like kind of put that game back in play, because this was pointed to Lucy. It was like that first moment of like, I'm taking a shot at you. I want you to know that this is about you. And here we go. Either Lucy can take the bait and start playing this tit for tat, or she can just be like, fuck you. I don't give a fuck about you saying this. So
that part, because she takes the bait. She takes the bait.
Does.
They exchange glances as soon as he sits down from that speech. And I said, it's on, it's on, it's on. And it was.
Yeah.
Next thing she goes, text Steven, meet me at the pool in 10. And then she goes to the pool. Steven's like, got her, bitch. He walks up to the pool.
But guess what? He did it real quick, didn't he? He should, I'll be there in 15. 15.
You like how he tried to do that though too? Make it on his terms. Like he responded and made it, okay, see you in 15. That's when I'm available.
Yeah,
like it's like
I felt different. I felt like it was like I'm going immediate as I can, but she's in the shower. I can't just jet. I feel like that was him being
You're
thirsty.
right.
Like, this is the quickest I can get to you.
And
I'll
he
be
had a
there for
smile on his
someone.
face too. Like he was
Mhm.
like, I did it. I got to her.
Yeah,
And then he showed
exactly.
up and he's so sadistic that it almost made him excited to see Lucy riding her boyfriend because then he looked at her and said, "We're back,
We're back.
baby. Me and you."
It's on. It's on. It's on.
It's
See,
on.
this is where I thrive. Yeah, you're winning right now. But we're playing my game. We're back on the board. And that's it. That's what he loves. This is how he thrives. He loves this shit.
He loves it. He
Hmm.
loves it. He was hoping
Hmm.
she would take it. He knew that she would, and she did.
Hmm.
So,
And I think it almost
and
excites him that she matches his energy. It's not like,
it
oh,
does.
she's not gonna beg him to come down there and be with him because he would get bored of that. It's, oh, we're going tit for tat. He loves it.
He loves it.
I kind of loved
You're
it too. I kind of loved
Me
it.
too. And I love that she smiled right in his face as she was doing it. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm worried about a yeast infection for you, Lucy, but other than that, I love this moment. So the next scene, we go flashback to 2008. It's because it started in 2015 at the wedding, and now we're back, and it goes from Lucy having sex in the pool to Lucy having sex with Leo. It's a lot of sex in Tell Me Lies, like always. And Leo, like, I guess, like, cradles her head to protect her head
Oh.
and while they were having sex, which was cute. However, I'm like, that's like the most basic thing ever. Like, I'm not about to clap for Leo for just protecting her head. I'm sorry, I'm not, because I don't like how he acts later in the episode, and maybe that's why. But I don't
Mhm.
like him. I don't like Leo. I don't like him.
I have a take on Leo that I'll get to at the end, but I think that was a moment of them needing us to show his delicacy with her or women, blah blah. It was all leading up to a
Um,
moment. But I'll speak on the take that I have with Leo in the end because I feel the way you feel as
Okay, agreed. I think you're right. I think that that is exactly what was happening. And so basically they were having sex and then he looks outside and they're staying here for Thanksgiving. It's snowing. They can't leave. And Lucy's excited because her mom is dating her father who passed away's best friend. So she didn't want to go back and have dinner with them anyways. And then Leo
well.
begins to
Wait, who
express Lucy's mom,
is
remember,
dating
she's dating the dad's best
his
friend.
friend from
Yes, they
that?
and she
Yeah,
found out that they were dating before
that's right.
he passed.
Hmm.
Yes.
Which
So
makes
she
sense.
didn't want to go home. That's totally valid. I wouldn't want to go home either, to be
Mm-hmm.
fair. Um and then Leo talks about how his mom wants him to make peace with his dad. And she tries to tell Leo, I wish that I had done XYZ with my dad. I wish I had the time before he died. Like, I don't want you to regret this. And he tries to tell her that it's not the same thing. Do you think that she should have made the correlation or
Understood. I love this show as well because it shows complexities with people. No, there's no perfect person in this show. I understood both sides. I understand. I love my mama so much, right? I love my parents.
same?
So imagine me losing my parents and then dating someone who's like, I'm just so mad at my mom right now. I don't even want to talk to her. I think the grief of me knowing how I could just wish to fight with my mama. I wish I could just speak to my mama and just trying to speak from that pain and tell you like,
Yes.
just trust me, you will regret it one day when you can't speak to them. I get that. But I also got an ain't shit daddy, right? I got a daddy. One, I have two fathers, but my real dad ain't shit. So if someone were to try to tell me, well, my dad just passed and you should probably reach out to your daddy, I'm not going to traumatize myself because my daddy may die. We all going to die. I may die. He
Right.
ain't trying to do better for me because I might die. So don't try to
Right.
tell me to fix some shit with someone you don't even know how bad Lee has hurt me. So she overstepped. She misspoke, and I understood both sides. How'd you feel?
I feel the exact same way. I totally get why she's saying it. And it's like this is part of where like some of the ways that young men cope with their trauma is unhealthy because Lucy, we're not mind readers, so like really she wouldn't know that unless he's communicated that. And while they may not be far enough in their relationship for him to feel comfortable to, he also can't get surprised at her reaction without having communicated that to her. So I think it makes sense that she thought that what she was saying was good advice, you know what I mean? So I really don't blame her, but I am such an energy person and such like an overly analytical person that if I heard that, I would be like, well, what happened with your dad? You know what I mean? Like I would immediately be like, let's talk about this. Yeah.
It was one of those moments of like, I don't need to mansplain this. I don't need to offer a solution to how things could get better. I could just listen to you talk about your dad being sad and just being there for you and saying, I'm sorry, that's you don't need to suggest any answers for me with family trauma. 1, 2, they're like fucking 19. Like, I don't know what I would have said at 19. We're
100%.
We're nearing 30, so we have the lens to be like, bitch, you didn't need to say that. But 19, I'd probably say some stupid shit or like
100%.
well, yeah.
I always give her grace for that too. I'm always like, you know what?
All of them.
Same. Okay, so then in the next scene, Oliver calls Bree, wishes her a happy Thanksgiving, lets her know that he's not going to be able to talk to her for a few days because he's with his wife. And I just can't stand him. I really can't. His character bothers me so much. Immediately after Bree hangs up with Oliver, she goes to the dining hall to get Thanksgiving dinner for herself and Lucy, and Evan and Wrigley run into her there. And Evan runs his happy ass over to Bree, and he's like, hey, and Bree gives him like the most basic answer back. She's like, hey, how you doing? And Evan walks up to Wrigley. He's like, I think she wants to hang out with me. Like, I think we should hang out.
I literally wrote Evan is delusional. Underline, because she was happy in that moment. She was smiling, but that's because she had just got done talking to the professor. So you mistook her genuine happiness for she wants to talk to you when really she's just in a good mood. I would have took that as she's happy in her own life and moved on from me. So now it's like kind of embarrassing that she's that happy without me. Like, but he took it as she's happy. She's finally speaking to me. Like, we must get back together. Like, he's so delusional. It was cringy. Even Wrigley was like, okay.
It's so realistic, though, because all she did was tell him that she was planning to have vodka and ramen in her dorm. And that prompted him to think, well, I'm going to throw a Friendsgiving so Bree has a place to be. Like, I'm going to do all of this stuff. Like, I'm going to go through this whole thing just so that one person can be there. That's so reminiscent of college times and doing the most for someone. I remember that.
Yes, me too. There were so many parts in this show when I was like, this is just like how it was in college.
Throwing a party just with the hopes that one person will be there, and they don't come, and you're like, all right, everybody out. Go. Okay, so Bree's getting invited to Friendsgiving from... Oh, no, actually, the way it happens is she talks to him, he makes this plan, and then Pippa gets the call from Wrigley because they're cool now, and he invites them to Friendsgiving.
I love this part.
What do you recap part of this? Do you think that...
Go ahead.
No, you first.
No, say what you're going to ask.
Do you think that you would have gone? Like, if you were like Lucy? Like, it's like a dinner with everyone's ex.
A little mess. Okay, I like a mess. I'm a Leo. I like attention. I would have absolutely gone. 1, we're bored. We're snowed in. Whatever. It's a blizzard. We ain't got shit to do but be messy and be around our exes. Granted, Lucy really did not want to be around Steven, and they said, we're sure Steven isn't going. So hell yeah, I would have wanted to go. And 2, the whole speakerphone moment where they're like, she had to take them off speakerphone. They're talking. It felt very much like freshman year, season 1, where it was like, we're all giddy, we're all gonna, your person is going with your person and all of their friends and our friends, and we all, the crews hang out, the girls, the boys. It just was fun, and it's been so much heaviness in the show that part just felt very exciting and fun, and like, why not? We're all on good terms. No one's fucking. Why not?
I agree. That part was cute. No, I thought it was really cute, and I love how I felt really realistic. Like, they were on speakerphone, And Evan's like, make sure Bree comes, and then like doesn't know that he's on speakerphone, and Bree's like looking over there. It just felt very real and very college. It felt very cute. And then Lucy's reactions I love too, because she's like, all right, yeah, let's go do Thanksgiving with your ex-boyfriends. That's completely normal. Like, she cracks me up with her. She's not cold, but remember how she got called Ice Queen season 1? Like, we learned that her ex-boyfriend called her that. She's very just like straightforward sometimes.
Her little quick quips. Yes, I love it. Yes, I enjoy it. She's like,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bree question. So after they make these, not me dropping my ring.
I was like, was that a ring?
After they make these plans, Bree asks Pippa if she's sleeping with Wrigley again. And this is when Pippa gets a little bit irritated because because even having to explain to them that they're just friends and it's not sexual, and if she wanted to be with someone, she would be with someone. It just, I'm sure that part of the reason that this is so annoying is because it's such like this heteronormative instant thought. Like, oh, guy, like I must be sleeping with him.
Vibe. So first, I think that this would be so very normal of their conversations. It's like, oh, are y'all fucking? Because there was a moment where Pippa, a couple episodes ago, had asked Bree something that was just very typical of like, we joke around, but because Bree wasn't sharing everything, Bree snapped at Pippa. So it was like, kind of that backwards.
Yes.
Like, I took this as Pippa just had this sexual trauma. So it's like, I'm literally not fucking anyone, and I'm triggered by the conversation of sex. Since you are not talking to Bree about this, they're like you said, everyone's holding secrets. She's not sensitive to that, because that is some shit we would say. We'd be like, y'all hanging together in the bed all the time. Y'all fucking. Like, that's just very girl gossip, heteronormative or not. I feel like even if it was your girlfriend, it's like, ooh, y'all been messing around. It's just cute, fun stuff. Honestly, until I had my sexual assault, trigger warning, sorry, I didn't know how uncomfortable sexual conversation is until you have something like that happen to you. So it being that fresh, that is so triggering that you would even think that I have to be fucking this dude or this person just because I'm in bed with him. But before that, it would have been so joyful, funny, goofy for us to play with. Before my assault, I would never have even thought that was like a weird thing to say. Like, we all had a little hot in the pants, you know? So it was like, I took that as just like, she is so fucking traumatized that she snapped.
Absolutely. 100% that. Because in a lot of these conversations too, like there's this feeling where Bree doesn't know what's happening, but Lucy and Pippa exchange a glance because Lucy is privy to that information because she was there. So yeah, that's definitely, I totally agree with your assessment of the situation. And I think too, she's just like she just admitted to Wrigley too, you know, like I faked all of my orgasms with you. Like I think that she's slowly coming to terms with too, like maybe either I don't like a certain type of men, or maybe I kind of like Diana. Like Diana looked pretty good when we were printing stuff together. I don't know what's happening there, but I know that Diana looked good. You know, like I feel like she's just got a lot going on, and Wrigley makes her feel happy. Like I feel like genuinely they have a true friendship.
I think Pippa, they did very well with this writing, because Pippa's assault, Pippa's the first one. I don't know if it's assault, the attitude, or if this was just already happening. She's kind of the first one to me to wake up from heteronormativity. She's like the first one to start being so attracted to just men being men and that being enough. She's kind of just turned off to the whole thing, the football team, the guys we're just here for the attention of she's starting to slowly move out of that, and you can like see it. So I think for me, my assault did that for me as well. So the writing is just very good, because that is what happens after trauma. Like you're just kind of, I want to be genuinely a person speaking with other people. So her and Wrigley are now being two people speaking together, maybe a little flirtations there, but they're genuinely connecting over being humans, because her telling him that the sex wasn't good or that she didn't orgasm is a huge deal, because women don't, in heteronormative culture, you never bruise a man's ego. You just deal with whatever to have sex for their pleasure. So it's like Pippa is, which is why we'll talk about it more later, but her and Diana make so much sense to me.
I am just I love the dynamic of her and Diana. I couldn't have written a better surprise into the story myself if I tried. Never
And it
would
was
I have
such a
done that.
surprise. Had no clue that they would go there.
None. Not even an inkling. Like I was like shocked, truly jaw dropped, shocked. Um so then in the next scene, okay, Diana walks in and she's upset. And she's telling Steven that her dad is talking to her the way that he talks to her mother. And she has never felt like she's completely disappointed him before prior to failing the LSAT. So she's like, we're not going home for Thanksgiving. I'm not welcome there anymore. And Steven's pretty much like, look, if your dad's treating you like your mom, then you're probably acting like your mom. You know, he is just so sick. Like, I hate him. I hate him so much.
He's so sick, and I remember being a woman, but now, no, but I remember being a girl, and when boys would tell you something, it was law. There was no afterthought of being like, maybe he's lying, maybe this is wrong. It is just, that is the truth. Instead of Diana thinking, he's just a fucking dick, and this is so horrible to say to me, she automatically thought, she's internalizing it. It's like what they say is fucking law. Like, that's why we become so insecure, because even when she tried to tell him, like, he tried to tell her, like, well, let's just try, just call him, make up. She was like, he literally doesn't, there's no option to go. He does not want me to come home. I'm not choosing to not come home. He is telling me I can't come. And that is when Steven kind of snapped, because he's like, you fucking up my shit now.
That part, because he really did. Like she basically had to be like, it's not like I can just call and say like, okay, we'll work this out. He literally told me don't come home. He doesn't want to see me. Like he doesn't want to see me. And it's like at that point, if Steven was a good person, he would be able to look at the similarities between his mom and Diana's dad and have a lot of empathy for her. But he doesn't.
No,
hold on, I have to grab a drink really quick. None.
Okay.
He's a psychopath. Okay, sorry, my throat was hurting really bad all of a sudden. Okay, yeah, so no empathy. And she is internalizing that. I like that you said that, because I felt the exact same way.
It's just, it's so, watching this and just being a woman healing, as a little girl healing inside of ourselves, is kind of like, I remember those moments. Because now you can look and be like, girl, Diana, he's just an asshole. That's not true. But being that girl in college is like, it's absolutely the truth. I am a fucking idiot. I should have passed this test. I am my mom, and I deserve to be treated like this.
And she also feels like Steven reminds her of her father. So if Steven feels that way about her, then she's disappointing two people who are the exact same, sort of. I completely agree with you. So in the next scene, Wrigley's calling his brother Drew and leaving another unanswered voicemail. And this is just important because this is such a large chunk of time with no appearance from Drew. Like he's obviously, trigger warning, gone. Like he's obviously dead, in my opinion.
So this is where we see him calling him, right?
Yes.
So did they already show the scene where Pippa encouraged him? Pippa was like, Steven's advice was stupid. Like,
yes, they did. That was the prior episode.
And I just wanted to talk about even that part. Like, that is a real fucking friend. Steven is a horrible friend. His advice is always terrible. You know what? His advice to Evan might have been good. Him making Evan tell Bree that he cheated. That's probably the only thing he actually did good. But it was malicious intent. But Pippa being a real ass friend and telling him, like, you need to call your brother. Like, you can continue to reach out to him. Like, that I thought that was very sweet.
I'm glad you brought that up, because had she not said that, he wouldn't have called.
No, he wouldn't have. He would have stopped. He would have gave up.
Because Steven told him to stop calling him, which is just so. Oh, Steven, your blood is on your hands in so many capacities by the end of this show. So many people's blood is on your hands. So Molly shows up at Evan's for Friendsgiving, and Molly is the girl that Evan's been shacking up with. And he's like, what the fuck? I invited Brie. Like, in his head, he's like, okay, like, great. But she comes inside, and basically Brie arrives shortly after. Oh, Wrigley is so cute. I wrote this down too. Wrigley is such like it feels like such a real friendship. He's like, I'm enjoying your panic, Evan. Like he was like, this is so cute, your little friend. Like he was like, I'm not gonna lie, I love this. And I'm like, thank you, Wrigley, because like such a normal I would say the same thing. I'd be like, well, the plot thickens. All three boyfriends showing up at once. What do we do here now, huh? You want me to distract one in that corner? Like I would make fun of my friend if that happened.
Listen, Wrigley's got to be a Leo. 1, 2. Wrigley didn't have a fucking football season. He needs his entertainment, okay? All y'all motherfuckers got to have a good little season while I had to suffer. I'm going to get my popcorn and I'm going to watch. And I might just fuck this turkey.
And even like in the episode where he was like, and we're going out for Evan. Like I don't know what he said, but he was like, he's always funny. He was like, and we're going on for the hunt. That's what he said. Yes.
His
like,
comedic relief is, I rewind his parts many times. He's so fucking funny.
He's so attractive to me because he's funny, and he wasn't at first, but now he is. He was not. He was so annoying. But now that he's like receptive to like the fact that he like thought that he was being charming, like keeping all the pink starbursts because Pippa hates them, and she was like, "I love those." I mean, he was like, "What?" Well,
she's getting to be a human and not just mold herself to be, which is why they shouldn't have been together anyway. She was just molding herself to be a girlfriend, a desirable girlfriend, and now she's getting to be a real human because we're just friends. Yes, I love it, and he still accepts her and likes her.
And I love too when he threw the starburst down her shirt. Like he didn't mean to, but he threw it at her accidentally. He was like, "Oh, sorry." Like it's like that awkward, like, "Oh." Like I've seen your movies before, but I don't want to.
These parts are not written in the script. These actors are they're hilarious.
I think you're right. Actually, you're probably right. Okay, so Bree, Lucy, Leo, and Pippa arrive after Molly, naturally, and Bree and Molly meet each other immediately. And Bree is like basically peeing on Evan's apartment. She's like pissing on her territory. She's like, "This is mine, bitch." She takes off her jacket. Oh, it's always so hot in here. It's always a warm 90 degrees in Evans. That she's been over there the whole time. And then they're trying to defrost the turkey. And I think Molly like caresses Evan's head, and that makes Bree upset again. So she's
now
like,
they're having a pissing contest. Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's a pissing match. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go get my hair dryer from Evan's room that I left there, you know, because we were sleeping together, obviously. Things were serious. And then Evan's excited. Like, he's like, woohoo! Bree's going in my room. So he follows her, naturally. And he's like, you know, you can come get it. Oh, but before Bree... so Bree goes in there, and I thought this was so slutty and funny. Like, she gets her phone out in Evan's bathroom and takes a little sexy pic of herself.
Her little flip phone, I fucking loved it.
Iconic. I'm like, this is bringing back, like, she does her little pose, and Oliver loved the picture. I'm like, you're such a creep, by the way, because she's just in jeans and, like, smizing, but, like, it would be cute if someone was 19 and also getting it.
Yeah, okay? It was cute. The quality was so mid. I loved it. Yes.
Perfect. So Evan walks in after she takes her little slutty pic, has no idea that she's like, you know, using his mirror as the perfect photo, and tells her to basically come back and get it anytime. They still clearly have chemistry. That's obvious.
I like how she just walks off after he says that too. She's like,
me too. She's like, good. She likes to know that. I think she even says to the girls before she goes, it's kind of fun to watch Evan pine after me.
Yeah, grovel.
Yeah, grovel. Yes. Okay, so then Diana and Steven show up, and the party instantly is like, like they're a boner killers. Okay, Steven's a boner killer because the party was fun. Everybody was playing Flip Cup. They walk in, and things are awkward. And Wrigley, of course,
I think he like kind of enjoys having that power when it's like it's negative. But I think he loves like, oh, they don't like me. It's like I think he loves moving the room.
I can't tell. Part of me agrees because he likes the power to suck the energy out of the room. But then part of me agreed with Evan when he tells Steven later in this episode, you care more than you say. And for maybe even for superficial reasons like appearances, but you still care deep down. Steven does, I think.
You're right. I like when Evan said that because up until Evan said that, sometimes I fall for a narcissist image. Like sometimes I fall for the fact that I think that they are so full of themselves and so confident that they actually don't give a fuck with anyone thinks. But that Evan has been dropping some truth bombs that make you come back to reality of like, no, actually you are fucking small and insecure and care what everyone thinks because you wouldn't act like this if you didn't. And
That part.
and I forgot up until he said that's really the reality of it.
Perfect wording. I'm so glad you brought that up because yes, he snaps me back to the reality of, okay, you grew up in an abusive household with a mother who humbled you your entire life. Okay. Destroyed you and still does. You know what I mean? Like to this day. And that is going to cause so much resentment, insecurity, and a want to hurt others without ever fixing yourself because it's a refusal to. That's too painful. Steven can't do that, but he still wants people to. He doesn't want his sister to see him that way either. He doesn't want anybody to see him the way that he sees his mom, you know? Except for like maybe Lucy.
And you would think it would just be so simple to just not be like them, but people have to remember when you're raised by someone, that is you don't know anything else. How do I know how to act any other way than this person when that is my model of love? So, yeah.
That's so true. But okay, so Diana and Steven just show up, and as soon as Pippa sees Diana show up, she's like, "Anybody need a drink?" And she like goes to go stand by Diana, which is really cute. Then Diana's hilarious when she humbles Steven. She goes, I feel awkward with Lucy here. You know, she hates me, but she really hates you. Like, I'm like, LOL. Yeah, she hates you more, that's for sure. Like, that was hilarious. And then Steven gets like a little snarky stick up his ass, and he's like, your new daddy issues give us nowhere else to go, Diana. And Pippa's hearing him in the background, and I know she wants to smack the shit out of him. So she was excited for this game later because she was like, that comment alone deserves it.
And this is where I want to remind people that he is abusive because that's emotional abuse. And even if a guy says something so very fucking rude to you and then quickly cleans it up, it was so mean that he had to say, what? I'm joking. He had to clean it up because it was that fucking nasty.
In the tone of his voice, shout out to that actor, Jackson White, because I don't know how he does it.
I had to rewind it because it made my like heart drop. It was so nasty and so quick and so like insidious the way he just like went in. It was, the tone. It was so emotionally abusive. It was evil.
PTSD. Like if you've ever gone through emotional abuse when you watch this show, it'll bring you back. If you've ever watched your friends go through it, I mean, the things that Steven says, they just cut right through you. And it's so weird because men always like have this thing where they try to say that women like fight dirty with their words. And it's so interesting because that's men. They set the precedent to just emotionally berate you and rake you over the coals. And then at the first time that the woman has intelligence and responds, and all of a sudden you realize, like all of a sudden you realize it's not just playing in there. Like she's like, your ass cracks out. I hate you. This. Like you got a 20 on your SAT. You know what I mean? Like as soon as she responds, it's, you're horrible for bringing this up. No. Remember?
And again, we're reminded of the quote, men's worst fear is a woman laughing at them, and women's worst fear is a man killing them. Because once a man feels like you should be comfortable with being humbled and embarrassed by us, and that's just the norm. But the moment a man is embarrassed by a woman, it is sadistic and evil, and you were literally fighting dirty. So you're absolutely right.
Ugh, it makes me so annoyed. So Pippa heard that comment and she wants to take Diana away from Steven. So she asks her to make instant mashed potatoes with her, which I loved. It's like a very like under the rug way of just looking out for each other. Hey, you want to help me make mashed potatoes? Like I need your help.
You want to literally get in this kitchen and cook with me? Ugh, I can't stand it. Give me more.
I'm obsessed. So Lucy and Bree, okay, this was interesting. Lucy and Bree go outside. And they're talking about Pippa. And Lucy is like, you know, how is she so friendly with Diana?
She is seething.
She's seething. And Bree is like, you know, and she has to be sleeping with Wrigley, right? And I feel bad, but this is so accurate. Like when one of your friends is doing some weird shit and you aren't sensitive to the fact of what's going on and you're 19 years old, you
Yeah.
would go outside and talk about them.
It was so
Okay.
realistic. It really was. Yeah.
My problem with Lucy is, and I guess this is like that being 19, like she tries. I'm going to give her this. She's more sensitive than I thought she would be to what's happening. Like she does try to protect Pippa in situations, but I'm like, you should know that any way she's moving right now is okay. Like anybody she's surrounding herself with right now that's making her feel safe and protected should be enough for you, Lucy. And that part of her bothers me. And that part of me makes me wonder, is Lucy also kind of a mean-spirited person? And is that why her and Steven find each other? Of course, he's abusive, but is Lucy kind of mean? Like, I can't figure that out yet.
I believe no. I believe Lucy actually is a great friend, a good person, and you can see that that's proven when how she stood up for Lydia and went and punched that dude. Steven makes her a terrible person. Not terrible person, but I did DV for a living.
Yep.
When women are in emotionally abusive relationships, it makes them a terrible fucking friend. And you
So
see
true.
every time that Lucy is a terrible friend, it always comes back to Steven. She is never being a terrible person or a terrible friend until it involves Steven. So she's so clouded by how her hatred for Diana and Steven that she can't even see her compassion for Pippa.
That's real. That's
the only time she's a fucking terrible person. That's when she fucked Evan. That is the only time she's doing bad fucking shit. Because other than that, Lucy she was insufferable last season because of Steven. She actually tries to be a good person. Go ahead.
Do you think Steven knows about Evan and Lucy? Because every episode, I feel like they give small hints that he knows.
No, because he's evil. I believe that once he does, he's going to be like a cat with a mouse. Like just someone. I think he was close to believing it until Evan was like, just some random girl. And they were like, yeah, valid. That threw him off the scent. I do not think he knows yet.
Whoo, I am so scared for them to find out. I'm so scared. So Pippa comes outside as they were talking about her. And she's like, so you guys are talking about me, right? Like, you know.
Her hair was so thick. Yeah.
She's like, you guys just stop and talking. What, you know, why are you guys talking about me? And Bree, who doesn't want to, now mind you, Bree was just talking about her man. She's talking about the professor, and she's like, I can't even spend Thanksgiving with my boyfriend. And Lucy's like, boyfriend? Huh, what's happening? And then she's like, well, puffing her cigarette, you know, I don't know. And then she's like, no, I'm a smoker, don't care. So Pippa walks out, and mind you, Bree could take one for the team and be like, we're talking about Oliver, the professor I'm fucking, like in case you weren't sure. But instead, Bree is like, yeah, no, Lucy was talking about you. She was talking about you talking to Diana too much. And it's like, LOL, Bree.
I was talking about you fucking Wrigley again. She could have took any direction, but again, she's in an emotionally abusive relationship. She's being groomed. So that relationship makes her a bad fucking friend. And that's why she decided. And the way she looked at Lucy, she was like, sorry.
Yes.
My cigarette.
Yes. And mind you, too, now they're fucking with Pippa's happiness, okay? Because when Pippa goes back inside, she was having a great time stirring the potatoes with Diana, and Diana calls to her, and she's like, hey, it's looking like gray soup over here, and Pippa ignores her and goes and gets a drink.
Well, also because Lucy took that shot and said, she was like, well, why are you talking to her? And she's like, well, Steven's being pretty mean. And she's like, well, Steven's mean to a lot of people. Hello.
She's like, hello, Steven ruined my fucking life and no one really noticed.
You're my roommate. You know it.
My roommate? Yeah, Steven got her. So
then, of course, Pippa has it would be so fucking horrific she can't even be a good friend by going in there and still talking to Diana. Like, come on now.
Yeah. So now Pippa's like, okay, let me ignore Diana. And now Steven is gonna use this moment to sink his teeth into Leo. And he goes in the kitchen. And mind you, I got pissed here because why is no one helping Evan cook this feast? Like, what is this? Not only did he pick up all the groceries, but he's hair drying the turkey. He asks Leo, hey, can you help me make stuffing? Leo's like, no, but here's a beer.
I guess.
Oh my God, we're ordering pizza, you fuckers. Glad I got you here. Now we're just ordering pizza. Like, okay, now that I got you in the door, I'm gonna switch up the plan. He's frantic. Gordon Ramsay would come in there and light his ass up because he doesn't have the proper tools. He's frantic. No one will help him. So anyways, Steven comes in there and he's like, so do you still talking to Becca? And Lucy's like, Becca? She's like, Steven, everyone has exes, okay? Like, stop trying to make fetch happen, Steven.
Literally.
And literally, Steven's like, no, like, I just am wondering, like, it's pretty cool that you guys are like, whatever. Steven's just a dick. Steven makes all these innuendos. He's a dick. Leo grabs Lucy and makes out with her in front of Steven. I feel like this is an important part because I'm like, Leo, if this is where you messed up, I'm gonna use fucking Tabitha's language from. No. This was your mistake, Leo, okay? Because you let me know, and you fucked up right here. This is where you let me know that you do care about Steven. And as much as you want to judge Lucy for him having power over her, he has tons of power over you. Tons. Because why'd you do that? Why'd you do that?
If you wanted to make that a moment of you proving we're stronger than ever, regardless of what you say, why are you still having to prove something? Ignore him.
Exactly.
Give him no power. But it's harder to say. It's easier said than done,
100%. 100%. And, fuck it. I don't care anyways. So, but that I only care because he gaslights Lucy later on in the episode. So then, trigger warning, Pippa walks in to a conversation with Molly and Diana, and she catches the tail end of it. And basically, Molly is saying that she wants to believe Katie about the assault, but who knows? Because historically, nothing happens to the wealthy family with the accusations in the fraternity anyways, and they were both drunk. And Diana tries to change the conversation because she sees Pippa standing there. And it's like, Pippa, it's so painful because she's just constantly reminded that, number one, of the assault itself, but number two, she's reminded of like the attitude of people around her. You know what I mean? Which is very much going to defend the man and blame the woman in some capacity.
It's a reminder, one, that she's powerless, and two, Molly is also a sorority sister. The way that men have each other's back, no matter what, just because they're men, you are my literal soror. You are my actual sorority sister where we should have each other's back and believe each other. So the people closest to me don't believe me? Hell no. Women are like, we're powerless. If the people closest to me can't even support me through this, what reason would she have to lie? She was brave enough to send that shit to the whole damn squad. She sent it to the whole damn sorority chapter. So it's like, it was so real because the fact that her own sorority sister didn't believe it, like, or was like, what can we really do? It's like, it shows you why men rape, because we know we can.
And knowing that however things fall in these next few episodes, that Lydia ends up with Steven shows how disgusting the both of them are. Because Lydia's response was disgusting. And she's delusioned to, I don't even know, be with Steven in the first place. Like, it just shows kind of the progression of like where things are going. But yes, exactly what you said. It shows exactly why men do the things they do, because they get away with it. I
do believe at 19 or being that young, I would have, if someone said that about my brother, I would have been ready to fight. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to believe my brother. Now at my age, I know that men can have the potential to be an amazing brother to me, an amazing father, and still be a fucking rapist. So
Right.
I'm telling you right now, I don't care what man in my family it is and how much I love them. I will listen to the accusations first. I'm telling you now.
Yes.
I'm putting
Yes.
that out there, and will stand by it if it ever does happen because I'm gonna believe women. And if my brother or
Mhm.
whoever is upset and later on they were vindicated, well, the worst thing to happen to you will not be that you got accused of rape. You will be fine.
Hmm. Or the worst thing that happened wasn't that your sister believed that the accusations could be true. You know what I mean? Like,
You'll be
okay,
fine. The worst thing that can
you'll be
happen to
fine.
women is actually being raped. So you'll be fine.
Exactly. So that conversation happens, and like I said, that I feel for Pippa in every single one of these conversations where stuff gets brought up. Let's see, where was I going next? Oh yeah, okay. So basically Molly has a conversation with Bree. Basically she's like, like what's the story with you and Evan? And Bree could have thrown Evan under the bus and said he cheated on me, but she didn't. The most she does is make a little comment, and she says he's just a little too nice to everyone. He's nice to everyone is what she said. So that's enough to make Molly be like, well, maybe he's just being nice to me. So like that is some like shade under the rug, but she could have really thrown his ass out there, and she
Could
didn't,
have
which
just
I thought was kind.
I didn't. I didn't like that. I feel like she should have just told the truth. It's not throwing you on her bus if I tell you the truth, which is why he tried to get his ass up in that kitchen and break them up or tell Molly why you talking to her because you know what you did. You shouldn't be ashamed of what you did if you know that you're able to admit your mistakes and move forward. I feel like too often women's first instinct is to protect men when
That's
men's
true.
first
We were
instinct
just talking
is
about
to
that.
have self preservation on for themselves. So I felt like we call it gossip, but like you or someone else told me, gossip has saved lives. Historically,
Yes.
women gossiping has saved lives. So our first inclination should not be to protect men from their bad behaviors. Because if I tell you the
True.
truth, he's not a good guy. He wasn't a good guy to me. Or you could have said he was a good guy, but he cheated. Unfortunately, he was unfaithful, and that's why we stopped. Like, tell the truth and let her make her decision if she want to be with a fucking cheater.
That's so true. That's so true. At 19 though, when you don't have that lens, your options are probably one, I can screw the pooch on this relationship right now and stop it before it starts and just like, blow up his spot, or I can just not say anything and be like what you would feel like at 19. You like feel like you're mature when you don't do
Exactly.
something.
Mm-hmm.
You be like,
Yes.
I was bigger. I was mature in that situation. So watching it, I'm like, oh, Brie handled that pretty mature for someone 19. You know what I
Agree.
mean? But absolutely agree with what you said, because that would save women so much time. That's why I love that Facebook group, Are We Dating the Same Guy? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
good for you, women.
Yeah.
Like, really, band together.
And we're always taught
So,
to be above the shit. Like, be above it. Like, yes, that's mature.
no,
So, fuck all that. But at 19, absolutely. I think yeah. Hmm.
yes. Okay, so, yeah, and like you said, Evan gets defensive because he doesn't want the two of them talking. And I think it's because he doesn't want Bree to know the specifics on him and Molly, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay.
Oh, no, I
Then
thought it
Rick,
was because, you were absolutely right. That's what it was because of.
he
You
wants
know,
Bree to feel like he was
I don't
single.
know why I felt like he was protecting Molly and he didn't want her to know she was a cheater. But you're absolutely right. He didn't give a fuck about Molly's feelings. You're right. You're right.
It was Brie.
Hmm.
Yeah, he wanted to protect Brie. He's like, well, I'm still single for you. Like,
Hmm.
just know that nothing's too serious to not be free for you. Okay, so come back. And Wrigley's like, all right, this party blows. Let's play slap shots,
Mm.
which I never heard of, but
In
I'm
my
like, game.
motherfucking life, bitch.
I've heard of quarters. I've heard of spoons. Not heard
I've
of
even
slap
heard of
shots.
tortilla slap, which is a new game. But I'm telling you, I was like, oh, it must be like a card game. If you lose, you
Me
gotta
too.
slap someone. Just
Me
we
too.
take shots and slap. Black people will be fighting. I'm telling you right now.
I couldn't believe that this game went as well as it did. I thought all the white people would be fighting. I'm like,
When I tell you I was under my covers, like,
me too. I was like, ah! I'm like, Leo, get it. Ah! I loved it. So, anyways, they play this game, and I'm like, oh, God. So, okay, Pippa chooses Diana, and they like have like a little laugh together. She's like, ready? Spaghetti. And then she like does like a little fake one. Diana smacks the shit out of her. Diana's like, all right.
which was kind of hot. BT Dubs. I was so turned on by them. I can't.
Yes. Yes. And honestly, Pippa's like, well, That was funny. Like, I don't know. Like,
Me.
yeah, she was like shocked. She was like, well, damn. That was like surprising. Bree, okay, no, Lucy smacks Bree, but not very hard, right?
But funny, goofy, like, yeah.
Funny, goofy.
But
Bree smacks the
but a
shit out of
slap,
her.
yes.
Yes. Bree smacks the shit out of her. Eventually, Evan gets annoyed with everybody smacking, and he's like, does anybody just gonna give me a shot, or should I just take one? Like, and he's like, I feel bad for Evan. He's been cooking by himself. No one wants to play the game with Evan. Like, he's just forgotten about in the corner. This part made me and you laugh so hard when we watched it. And Pippa gives Evan a shot. She's like, I can't slap you. Correct.
He said
Steven.
right.
Correct, Steven.
He was like,
Okay. Yeah. He's like, correct, you can't smack the host, Steven. I want you to smack Steven. So Pippa's like, say less. Oh, Wrigley's in the background. Oh no. Oh dear. He knows. Okay? Pippa's gonna smack the shit out of him. And does.
It does. The slap heard around the campus. She
smacked the shit out of him.
She slapped him so much he wanted to punch her. He had to. Mm-hmm. And you know what men do, that little jaw, like.
Yes. In the nostril flare, like the clench and the.
She slapped the shit. And everyone literally.
Everyone laughed.
Like,
everyone dapped each other up. Leo's like, nice one. I'm like, okay, Leo, well, eyes are on you now. But Steven looks at Lucy, and I thought he was going to hit her. I was scared. Me too, I was scared. I was like, we're going to see Leo absolutely lose it if he picks Lucy. Like that, then we'll see it. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Man, I just knew that was going to happen.
Oh, I couldn't believe it didn't. So anyways, he goes up to Leo. And he smacks him really hard. Yeah, he smacks him hard. And Leo, does he slap Steven or does he just pinch him?
He's like, okay, let me give you a shot. Their tension, I'm like, sometimes I'm so homoerotic. I'm just like,
me too. I'm like, just fuck.
They're like, oh, they're just puffed up like a goddamn peacock. And he's just like, I'll give you a shot. And he's like, okay, I'll take a shot. I'll do. And so he's like, what if he goes,
oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
he cradles his cheek and he's like, aw. He's like, you're adorable.
Yes, you're a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, you're adorable, Steven.
I stood him in that moment. Stood.
I wanted him to punch Steven in the eye.
I love that response. So because it really humbled Steve. It made him feel very small. He did not like that shit.
Didn't he? Okay, so that happens. Mm-hmm. He does this to Steven. But now Steven has the bottle again. Does he hit him again?
No. What happened?
I remember Wrigley too also yelled, strong arm, took it well, to Leo when Steven smacked him. No, he doesn't. Let me see. Okay, nope. Then nope. This is when Evan gets pissed. It's after all this, Evan is like, well, I want a shot. And then he just cradles Bree's face and like holds her. And Molly's looking at her. And Bree's like, well, someone needs a shot, like Molly. And she gives Molly a shot. Molly's supposed to give Bree a shot. Or no, Molly's supposed to get smacked by Bree. Molly just smacks the shit out of Evan.
And Wrigley's like, no, Molly, you were supposed to slap.
He's like the referee.
She slapped the dog shit out of him. She did.
She did. And then she left. Yeah. She's like, all right, well, I'm leaving on that note. And she does. She leaves.
Oh, we were on the phone. I was like, I would have left. And she got up and left. Yeah.
She's like, I'm out.
And then the turkey goes off. Drunk ass. It was like they were the only two in the room.
100%. Like, you're embarrassing me. Like, there's no reason for me to be here. I get the vibe now. It was never a thing with us ever. Like, I get it. I would be so embarrassed. I would have done the same thing. So turkey goes off and Steven asks Lucy, so have you ever actually met Becca? And then he's like, so you haven't told her. And Leo goes, it's not a big deal. He's like, I told you Becca cheated on me my sophomore year. And Steven was the person that she cheated on me with. It mattered at the time, but it doesn't now.
And then I didn't expect
mine
that.
Too.
I expected to find out that Leo had actually abused Becca.
That's what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was the exact same thing. And then he tells her that they'll talk about it later. And
Which
Diana
I think,
walks in.
granted, they should have. I don't think they should have gave Stephen a show.
Agreed.
But Lucy's like, oh, I feel weird now in my stomach.
But I'm also like, I don't know how Leo expected Lucy to be the person to find the energy to not talk about it when she's being shocked by her ex with information that her current boyfriend didn't tell her. Like, that's such
he doesn't ammo.
Yeah, she didn't realize that Steven is such a sadistic person that he loved this and he knew, like, and Leo's like he wants a reaction out of you, but it's kind of like, I felt like that was so unfair to say to Lucy because any person would react. If Becca walked in here right now.
That in. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. She didn't have the range.
No.
That's a perfect way of saying it. So Diana walks in and she's like, what are you guys talking about? And Steven has no respect for Diana. He has no respect for Lucy either. You can tell by the way he talks to them. And because the way that Steven talked to Lucy in front of Leo at that lunch table was crazy when he made his fake ass apology before. Okay. So Diana's like, he's like, yeah, Diana, we're talking about Becca. And he explains to Lucy that that's the reason that Diana broke up with him, because he cheated on her with Becca, which is weird because I wonder if there was overlap, Becca, Lucy, Diana.
No, it was sophomore year. They said it was sophomore year. But it's just the way that Diana was just so, I'm like, you look so stupid right now. You look so dumb, right? She looks so dumb. It's like, how many times have you had to forgive him for his indiscretions, bitch? Y'all not married.
And then Steven, like, I don't understand why this makes Leo upset. Steven's like, did you tell her yet, Lucy? Did you tell him how you made a 16-year-old cry? How you and harassed my little sister on Halloween weekend? I'm like, if you thought you ate that, I would have laughed in his motherfucking face.
Like so.
and it runs in the family, and your little sister deserved it. And what?
I don't know her.
I couldn't believe that gave that's why I'm saying Leo is annoying. Like, why should that give you pause in any way? If I tell you I berated a 17-year-old, why should you fucking care? Like, does it really matter? Especially since you punched someone in front of me, which Lucy kindly brings back up, and he gets mad at her and tells her she fights dirty, which we talked about earlier. Let's see. Okay, so Diana walks in. Okay. Lucy freaks out on, how does this happen?
I'm trying to remember what verbiage, and I got to run the class, so we got about 5 minutes.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember what verbiage led to this encounter.
Like Lucy's. Oh, she was saying, she responds to Steven, harassed your sister? Like, you're a bad person. Everyone is waiting for you to fuck them over, Steven. Everybody. And then Diana's like, speak for yourself, Lucy. I'm not. And she was like, really, Diana? You think that some guy that treated every other girl horribly will treat you good? And Diana replies and says, some girls make it easier for guys to treat them like shit. And
I would slap the dog shit out of her ass, too. Because your mama do, bitch, your mama. And when I say your mama, I really mean that shit.
Yes. Unfortunately, and I never talk about someone's mom. Unfortunately, Diana, look no further. Look no further. So she smacks Diana, and Leo walks out upset. I'm like, why are you mad at her?
Did we just forget that everybody just slapped everybody and you just slapped the shit out of Pippa? Like, get over it.
Exactly.
We all just got slapped. Diana, you're the only one who didn't get slapped.
Yes. So honestly, you deserve that. It was kind of like payback. So Lucy tells Leo that he has a detailed list of things that he's hiding from her. And he tries to give no reason as to why it happens. And I think she's valid in that. And she brings up how he assaults people, thinks that's normal, and she's just supposed to trust him. And Leo explains to her the relationship he has with his father, how his father was abusive physically to him and his mother until he intervened and fought back one day, which is why he feels the tendency to go back into that habit that he's trying to break. Mm-hmm. And he breaks up with Lucy here. What did you think about that?
Good. Bye. Because and this is why I said he was foreshadowing the whole time. This was a moment where, and I wrote this down, Leo is a protector. Leo being a protector of women doesn't mean is a respecter of women. Because a lot of men feel like they are protectors, but you don't necessarily actually respect that woman. Because if you respected her and cherished her and valued her, you would understand the complexities. She doesn't have to be perfect for you to love her. You ain't even being perfect for you to care about her and be with her. So while you can protect her and she should never have physical harm, it doesn't actually mean that a lot of these men are respecting us.
That part.
They were just taught to protect us. But it's like not genuine respect.
Agreed. So I hated his reaction. And then the most important part is Bree goes inside, has a conversation with Evan. He finds out she's dating someone. She's like, well, he's 45 and he has things to do. Like, that's why I'm not with him this weekend. And Evan tells Bree that he's worried about her because
he was so serious.
He was so serious. He said a normal 45-year-old man does not want to date a 19-year-old. Think about it. The way you grew up, he can tell you're looking for a father figure. And Bree is like, you're not that nice, Evan. And she storms out. But what he is right. He might not be nice, but he's right.
And he's
that's always right.
And that's why it hurt. Because if he would have been like, oh, your boyfriend is ugly, she'd been like, boy, shut up. But it was about it being the truth and it hitting home and she knowing it. That made her feel small. Y'all, I have to go. My laptop's about to die.
Thank you for recapping with me.
For my next class, y'all.
I love you. Thank you for staying on. I'm
so much. This episode was one of my faves. I can't wait to rewatch it when I get home.
My fave too.
Podcast.
Check out her podcast. Listen.
That was it.
Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Listen to her podcast. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to recap the last 5 minutes by myself, and then I'm going to post this episode later. Love you so much.
Close it out for us. Love you, bestie. Bye.
So, continuing on. First of all, thank you, Bree. I love you. My best friend is always such a pleasure to have on my podcast. We talk all day on FaceTime. We text each other, but whenever I can have her on my podcast, I like to do so. So we quickly recapped how Evan tells Bree the truth. She needed to hear this. He may not be nice, but he's right. Okay? The truth hurts. And right after that, we see Diana and Pippa opposite each other on the couch texting. And I thought this moment was really sweet because Diana is laying next to Steven on the couch. Pippa is laying next to Wrigley, but they're both awake and texting each other. Pippa's like, I can't sleep. Wrigley's whole body is on me. And Diana's like, can't sleep either. And you can see the building chemistry, the budding chemistry, and the growing of their relationship. I'm so excited to see it. So they're texting each other. And at the very end, Lucy's been broken up with. She's by herself, sleeping in bed, and Bree brings her food and checks in on her. And Lucy's like, I'm just so sad. In the morning, Lucy walks through school and she passes by Steven. Now, mind you, Steven just tanked her relationship last night. So she passes by him and says, I'm done. You win. Why are you punishing me for loving you despite all of your flaws? I looked in there. I saw who you were and I loved you regardless. And Steven looks like he's pondering this as she walks away. And by the way, Lucy's right. Lucy's right. Why does Steven punish her? Every woman that Steven's been lucky enough to have, Diana and Lucy, takes him for, like, allows him to be himself so much more than he deserves. So much more than he deserves. So he looks like he's contemplating this, but because the episode started with them still in their game, it's clear he doesn't stop. It's clear he doesn't stop. He ends up marrying her best friend instead, so we'll see. Thank you for listening to this episode. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Come back for next week. Come back for the future recaps. I think there's 2 episodes left of this season. I'm working on an interview with cast member Elena Hester, who plays Steven's little sister, Sadie DeMarco. And I can't wait to find out if there will be a season 3 and what will be happening upcoming. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to my podcast on all platforms, and have a beautiful Monday.